Some say that it is irresponsible not to raise the debt ceiling. Well, true fiscal conservatives say it's irresponsible to raise the debt ceiling without any reform of our profligate spending ways. To allow the debt ceiling to go up an infinite amount, as much as Congress can possibly spend and borrow over a nearly 2-year period, is fiscally irresponsible and has never been seen in our history. This may well be the most fiscally irresponsible thing we've done in the history of the United States. The federal government is currently spending nearly $2 million every minute. Don't let anybody fool you. This is a spending problem. The annual deficit this year will exceed $1.2 trillion. What is irresponsible is recklessly indenturing our children and our grandchildren. What is irresponsible is binding our kids to this massive burden of debt. What is irresponsible is a Congress that believes they are Santa Claus and that they can be everything to everyone and everything is free. At least Democrats are honest. Democrats don't care about deficits, and they'll tell that to your face. Democrats, in fact, are falling all over themselves to propose more than $50 trillion in new spending in addition to the $1 trillion annual deficits. They want to add $50 trillion in spending. But it's not just Democrats. Republicans are also guilty. At least the big government Republicans who will vote for this monstrous addition of debt. Many of the supporters of this debt deal ran around their states for years complaining that President Obama is spending too much and borrowing too much. And these same Republicans now, the whole disingenuous lot of them, will wiggle their way to the front of the trough, to the front of the spending trough, to vote for as much or more debt than President Obama ever added. Get this, all of those who said debt was bad under President Obama will today snuggle their way up, wiggle their way up to the spending trough, and they will do exactly what they condemned under President Obama. Shame. Shame on the politicians who campaign as conservatives but govern as big spenders. America, wake up. The two parties are often one. The two parties who ostensibly fight are in reality one party of big spenders, separated only by where they want to spend the money. The media reports a lack of compromise. The opposite is true. There is too much compromise, and the compromise is always more debt, more pork barrel spending, and more burden for our kids. But there is another path. There is another form of compromise. Instead of compromising to raise spending for guns and butter, we could compromise to hold the line on all spending. Just a mere 2% cut in spending would balance the budget over a 5-year period. 2 pennies out of the dollar. You get to spend 98% of what you spent last year and we'd balance the budget. But that's never enough because these people are not honest with you. They're not willing to hold the line. They want more, more, more. More spending, though, means more debt, and that's what we're getting. So what I offer today is a compromise. The right would have to deal with less military spending. They say, oh, we don't have enough. Perhaps the mission's too big for the budget. It isn't a lack of money. We spend more money on the military than the next 10 countries combined. We spend more money on the military than all of Europe spends. It isn't a lack of money. It's that the mission's too large. Why do we have troops in 50 of 55 African countries? Why are we involved in every civil war on the globe? We need to question what our mission is. The left would have to accept less welfare spending, or at least holding the line and getting 98% of what they spent last year on welfare. The right would have to spend 98% of what they spent on the military last year, and guess what? We'd balance the budget. So my amendment is called Cut, Cap, and Balance. When the balanced budget is passed and sent to the states, when spending caps are in place, and when spending has been cut, then and only then will we raise the debt ceiling. This is the only responsible way of dealing with this. It's irresponsible just to give a blank check to a government that has shown themselves to be so reckless and to so recklessly disregard any kind of sense of sanity with regard to the budget. Today's votes, though, will be a litmus test for fiscal conservatism. Those senators who vote for an unlimited increase in the debt ceiling are not and have no right to call themselves conservatives. So, America, wake up and watch the votes today and discover who actually gives a damn for the future of our country.